Good morning, everybody. Today's Saturday, May 6th. Thought I'd do a quick early morning garden tour. I've been out early this morning working in the garden because I'm going to be gone most of the day with my girls. Going for early birthday gathering. We're going to do movie and dinner at their house. So, to get started here, the beautyberry bush is starting to leaf out. There's a remainder of my wood chip delivery, which I've been using around my plants. This potato's coming along nicely, the canna lilies. It's my atomic grape tomato plant. I've got one nice little tomato coming along there, some pretty color on it. I've got some good germination with the sunflowers, cosmos, and the cups again are keeping the slugs away. It seems to be working. I've got some dahlias, got some peas. Dahlias, Swiss chard I've been harvesting for friends and neighbors. Some zinnia seedlings coming up. More sunflowers back there. Cosmos. Parsley's getting big and pretty. This carrot's been amazing. I'm letting it go to seed, but look at how big around the stalk is. And it's gotten huge. I'm letting those two, that one and this one here, go to seed and hopefully let them seed, get the pretty flower and then let them seed themselves so that I get some winter carrots. The front of this garden I'm going to put peanuts and cotton plants, but I'm waiting for the soil to warm up just a little bit more before I do that. There's another tomato plant, cherry, that's a super sweet 100. And this potato is doing great. Starting to get some, I don't know if it's dying back or getting some damage on it, but I imagine we'll get a pretty good harvest out of those, hoping anyway. Another potato. The hibiscus is starting to get big. And these sunflowers are coming along really well. Got one missing there, but I keep planting, hoping others will come up. And I learned when I went to a Fairview garden class that if you plant cucumbers interspersed with your sunflowers, that they will climb up the sunflower trunks. So I'm trying that. So I've got to just put a cucumber seed in there. There's a cucumber plant here that I bought, but that will go up the fence just fine. Snapdragons are still looking spectacular, lasting a nice long time. My peas I've been harvesting daily. They are so good, so tasty. Violas, there's coneflowers getting big. This one actually had a little flower already. That's a red one there. These are all Shasta daisies that are just taking over that space. I've got blanket flowers in front. This was the first plant I had that all the others babies came from. Again, it's just beautiful. Daylilies, those are the bee balm. Getting nice and tall. They're probably, I don't know, 4.5 foot tall now. The passion flower, got tons of buds on it, growing out nicely. This will be the first year that had any flowers on that. Butterfly bushes are doing nice. Filling in. Got a bloom. And more daylilies, the black and blue, they're starting to get some blossoms on them. I put some obedient plants here because they keep popping up in my garden where I don't want them, so I put them back here. They'll naturalize a little bit. Carolina phlox are basically done. Dianthus are hanging in there. Pansies are getting near the end of their life, but I've got vincas that will hopefully take over when they're done. This is where the tree was cut down last week. So there's a big hole here now. So this garden used to be partial shade, which that's not going to happen anymore. And one of the branches fell down on my wild geranium, which was kind of out of control anyway. So I dug up some of it, pushed the rest of it back against the fence. So it looks a little bit sad, but it's still, the flowers are just so beautiful. I will probably cut this back a little bit more once it's done blooming, but I've got, there's a mum plant that I had here last year that was beautiful, and it was totally engulfed by that geranium, so I'm trying to give it some space to do its own thing. I forget, this was an angel face, I think they called it. It was an annual I got. It was in its pot for a long time. I just planted it. It was not looking happy, but hopefully it'll come back. Columbine is done. I put some hollyhock seeds and some sunflower seeds against the fence. With that tree gone, I feel like I needed some height here. I was so used to the height, so hopefully they will take off and do their thing. Dianthus and the last of the Carolina phlox for the year. They were beautiful all spring long. I moved my 2 winter interest barrels that I had here with the barley in them. I was going to grow the morning glories in the barrels to go over the trellis, but they were really getting crowded out by these daylilies, and so instead I just moved the dirt or the rocks away. That's what I was doing this morning. Dug a hole, filled it with soil cube, and I planted the morning glory seeds along the bottom. I also put in some hollyhocks at this end to get some height in the front of it. So I did that on both sides this morning. The ginger's coming along nicely. And then there's sunflowers back there. It's kind of hard for me to see them, but I've got them back against the fence. And they seem to be coming along okay. Again, where there's holes, I keep trying to put in more seeds, hoping that they'll germinate. And we'll get a nice big show of sunflowers back behind there on that fence. And here's a morning glory that I've got going here that I have fishing line to hopefully bring it up the fence, let it grow along the fence. Gladiolas, brown-eyed Susans for later. Peonies are done. And then I filled this in with a lot of different annuals that are just sort of getting started. There's a stargazer lily, of course, is a perennial, but that was, I forgot what that one was. Anyway, this is a pansy viola I took out of one of my barrels and just stuck it in here till it's, because it wasn't dead. It will be. It'll be getting hot this week probably, and it won't like that. So I just got waiting for things to really take off in here. I'm going to move things. Right now it's sort of a holding place, and I will move things around as they start getting crowded or I find other spots for them, but I had to get them out of pots. One last peony on its last days. And then lilies and asters, some more morning glories. Somebody's eating it, but hopefully it'll make it. And I have one little watermelon here. I'm hoping that's going to work. The plan is it's going to spill out over, and we'll put something down here for it to grow on. And we'll see how that works out. And in the container garden, the sun has just come up over the trees, so it's pretty bright. But here are the potatoes, marigolds. The strawberries are looking good. I got strawberries, nasturtiums, and onions in here, and a broccoli plant too. Again, I just am filling every available space, and any place that gets too full, I'll just take things out. It's a learning year. This is another little container of potatoes. In the straw bale garden, there's a watermelon and tomato. That's a Better Boy, I believe. And I have a little basil plant down here, and a cantaloupe. Not sure why that's looking like that. Pests and diseases I'm not real familiar with, so I'll be learning. These potatoes are getting big. I don't expect a big harvest out of those because it's just not deep enough, but I was running out of pots to put the potatoes in, so a couple of them ended up in here. I've got cucumbers and beets going along the edge here. More cucumbers, lettuce. There's a pepper plant in here. Onions along the edge. I had some of the Kajari melons. I'm having terrible luck with those. They come up and then something eats them. So I keep planting more seeds in hopes that something will survive. These are my barleys. They're sad looking and I really kind of want to take them out, but I want to save the seeds, and I don't know enough to know if I can take them out now and let them dry after they've been harvested, and if they'll still be viable, or if they have to actually dry on the plant in the ground. So those two are pretty sad. This one is a little bit behind the others and still looking okay, so we'll find out. But I want to get these repotted with annuals, which I've started here a little bit. But I want to get that barley out of there. So we'll just see. This one has some marigolds and a tomato plant in there. There's another tomato. I know the sun's making it hard to see. Another tomato. There's an eggplant, which I'm sure I'm going to have to repot because it's just a small little fabric container, but that looks like a blossom maybe. I don't eat eggplant, but it's a beautiful plant, and I'll share it with somebody else. Been walking into the sun, it's going to be harder to see now. These are the amaryllis, which I got from my friend Laura last year, and they've got buds on them now. I'm so excited. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, it looks like 6. So hopefully in a few days those will be open and looking pretty. I believe they're red, maybe orange, I'm not sure. It's a beautiful sunrise. The blueberries are looking wonderful. Got a month or so before they'll be ready, but this cage seems to be holding up really well. Again, the birds don't really come after them until they're almost ready to eat, so we'll know if we have any holes in here, if we see birds getting in there, but hopefully that won't be the case. Look how pretty they are. They are loaded. Down here, I'm still trying to grow seedlings. Again, not having any luck with that Kajari melon that comes up and then something eats it. Got some basil plants. I got some morning glories coming up. The eggshells to keep the slugs away. Down here, I think what I have, I'm hoping what I have, here it is a moonflower sprout. I planted them here in hopes that they'll take off, and they haven't been, but all of a sudden I saw that. So again, the eggshells are trying to keep the slugs away. Hopefully that will work. And I have this loofah plant, but something is definitely eating that. So that's disappointing. I'm hoping it will take off. If not, this is typically where my volunteer tomatoes pop up every year, so if I haven't disturbed them too much, maybe they will. If nothing else grows, hopefully they will at least come back. So that's it for today. Just wanted to show you what was happening. Again, I do this mostly so I can refer back to it next year. But I'd like to bring those of you who are interested along with me. Have a good weekend.